Thursday, 2nd October. Good evening. Welcome. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live from Sabata Desawe Kanda. Also live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook and on DSTV channel 279. We're all across the world on 3news.com. We're also on 3FM 92.7. I am Alfred Ocansey. Tonight, ahead of tomorrow's civil society engagement on illegal mining, we gauge the expectations of some of the invitees and what they're taking to the table of that conversation with the president tomorrow. We're big on this fight against galamsey tonight. Stay with us. Also here on Ghana Tonight, calls for a broader policy conversation on sexual misconduct in schools heightens following the resurgence of these viral videos. The last 1 week, at least 2 of teachers and their students in compromising positions involved in some morose sexual relationship. The Ghana Education Service has taken on the issue, but what more can be done beyond dismissing these head teachers and also the teachers involved? We'll have a conversation tonight. Government has announced an upward adjustment of the producer price of cocoa for the 2025-2026 season. What does this mean to the cocoa farmer? We hear from a cocoa farmer tonight. Well, this including an increase in the price of petroleum products at the pumps. Fuel prices, that's petrol, diesel, have been increased at the pumps. We'll tell you what's happening and what's going to happen in the next pricing window. Stay with us here on Ghana Tonight. You're an integral part of the conversation. Let's hear from you. The hashtag we're using is Ghana Tonight on Facebook and on X. Let's get talking. Let's settle for Ghana Briefs.
President John Mahama has urged the newly sworn-in justices of the Court of Appeal to remain steadfast in their commitment to justice and resist the growing wave of public cynicism towards the judiciary. He entreated them to inspire confidence in Ghanaians by their judgment and restore hope in the justice system.
Criticisms of judgments is not the end of hope. It is the evidence of hope. It shows that Ghanaians still believe in the courts, that justice still matters, and that verdicts have meaning in their lives. What we must guard against is cynicism, the corrosive belief that the courts no longer serve the people, but only the powerful in society. To rebuild trust, our courts must demonstrate in word and deed that justice is not compromised by status, wealth, or political convenience.
The acting Chief Justice, Paul Bafuboni, has admonished judges to fiercely guard against external pressures from every quarter, including political, social, or commercial, in order to maintain the integrity of the judiciary. He was speaking at the conference of the Association of Judges and Magistrates in Accra.
There is a growing public perception that sentences for environmental crimes and drug offenses are either too lenient or inconsistently applied. We must work towards harmonizing sentencing practices to ensure proportionality, deterrence, and fairness. We must fiercely guard our independence from external pressures.
Some 6,500 unpaid nurses and midwives have expressed disappointment in the Ministries of Finance and Health for failing to pay their salaries for the past 10 months. On Thursday, the nurses and midwives presented a petition to both ministries demanding a clear timeline for the payment of their arrears. Receiving the petition on behalf of the Finance Minister, Deputy Minister of Finance Thomas Nyakwampim acknowledged that the challenge was one of several the current government had inherited. He, however, assured them of government's commitment to resolving the issue.
There are a lot of legacy challenges that we inherited, and we are working earnestly to fix all of them. Issues of health, workers who have not been paid, not just you. There are even some doctors and others are seriously being considered, and you are going to receive your salary.
The Ghana Education Service has interdicted Info Richard Tibeto, a male teacher at Okajacrom Senior High Technical School in the Jasika Municipality of the T region over alleged sexual misconduct. In a statement, the Ghana Education Service noted that the interdiction follows notice of a disturbing video circulating on social media allegedly involving Info Richard Tibeto in an act of sexual misconduct with a female student. According to the GES, the conduct of the teacher is unacceptable, unethical, and a clear violation of the Professional Code of Conduct for Teachers. The minority in Parliament has accused the Minister of Communication, Samuel Nati George, of inconsistency in the ongoing standoff with MultiChoice over DSTV subscription fees, asking him to either resign voluntarily or they will mount pressure on government to remove him. Addressing the media, the Member of Parliament for Ibirim and the Deputy Ranking on Parliament Communications Committee, Charles Uredu, questioned the U-turn in the minister's stance on the matter.
For this display of ineptitude, incompetence, and penchant for deceit, we of the minority demand that 1. The minister render an unqualified apology to Ghanaians for the waste of the nation's time and resources on this venture. We call on him to account for the fines levied on DSTV. We deem him unfit to continue as the minister for this strategic ministry of communication, digital technology, and innovation.
Government has increased the producer price of cocoa from 3,228 per 64 kilogram bag to 3,625 per same bag. The decision, which takes effect on Friday, October 3, was taken by the Producer Price Review Committee, chaired by the Minister of Finance, Dr. Kaysalato Forson. The minister assured that Cocoa Board will continue to implement all interventions to support cocoa production and the welfare of farmers.
On the basis of the changes that we have affected to the forecast, the government has taken a decision to increase the producer price of cocoa to 3,625 Ghana cedis per bag, or 58,000 Ghana cedis per ton. This simply means that per every bag purchase, the cocoa farmer is getting 400 Ghana cedis additional.
Okay, that's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live as well on 3FM 92.7, also on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, and also on YouTube. We're streaming on TV3 Ghana and on X as well. There are so many ways you can connect with us here on Ghana Tonight. It's always proudly brought to you by Flamingo Paint, simply superior. Sasso Insensai Spray and Call Tum Preko coming up next year on Ghana Tonight. Before we get into the matters on the table, we were big on Galamsey tonight for a number of reasons. And there's a latest coming from the Ghana Armed Forces as well regarding some soldiers, military personnel who are captured on video allegedly involved in these matters of illegal mining and so on. There's a release coming from Ghana Armed Forces. It's just breaking news coming through right now. Stay with us, we'll get into it. But coming up next year on Ghana Tonight, ahead of tomorrow's Anti-Galamsey Forum, civil society voices are sharing the expectation. The Galamsey fight, is it on? Has it been on? What is their expectation exactly of government beyond the number of achievements that the president points to? In this fight against Galamsey, the number of persons who have been arrested, the number of excavators that have been impounded, chamfans that have been destroyed, water pumps that have been seized, and the forest reserves that have been retrieved from these illegal miners. Are these enough to, as it were, giving a clear, direct, convincing, positive indication that there's commitment, political commitment to fight galamsey? And that's the question we're going to find out from one of the invitees to this meeting. But civil society organizations will be meeting tomorrow to engage on matters of illegal mining. This is upon their request and invitation of His Excellency the President John Dramani Mahama. He has a statement that came through earlier in the week. On Monday evening, we got this statement signed by Dr. Callistus Mahama, Secretary to the President. And in fact, he wrote this statement and this letter upon the instructions of His Excellency the President. The engagement expected to be at the Jubilee House tomorrow, 12 noon. Remember that we're going to be monitoring this quite closely. Kamala Kluche is our presidential affairs correspondent. Is going to be there. And whatever would come out of the meeting, there's going to be an engagement with the press right afterwards. We will be there to bring you that details. So keep an eye on TV3. But this engagement, according to Dr. Callistus Mahama, is aimed to provide a platform for what has been described as frank and constructive dialogue between the government and civil society on the menace of illegal mining, with a view to harnessing collective expertise, perspectives, and solutions to address this national challenge, right? So that's the focus. That's the objective of this meeting. Frank and constructive dialogue. And these are some of the invited organizations: Catholic Bishops Conference, Christian Council of Ghana, Ghana Episcopal and Charismatic Council, Office of the Chief Imam, Ghana Muslim Mission, Arocha Ghana, one of the NGOs in this fight against galamsey, Imani Ghana. Well, if actually it's Imani Africa. That's also captured on this letter. There's Institute for Democratic Governance, IDEC. There's Center for Democratic Development, Responsible Cooperative Mining and Skills Development Program, COMSDEP, Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey, that has Engineer Dr. Kenashigbe in there as well, Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining, Eco-Conscious Citizens, Awolasewa, leading this group, University Teachers Association of Ghana. They've just elected the first female president of that association. She's going to be there. Fix the Country, Oliver Bakavon, Star Ghana Foundation, Center for Democratic Transition Ghana, Ghana Chamber of Mines. You have them all in there. Well, one of the invited organizations, founder and president, is joining us on Zoom right now to have a conversation on what posture they are going into this meeting with. Franklin Kojo is president, founding president of Imani Africa, one of the invited organizations for this meeting with the president tomorrow. He's joining us on Zoom right now. Mr. Kojo, good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight.
Good evening. It's always a pleasure to be with you, Alfred.
Perfect. As always, good to connect. Now, tomorrow, you're going to meet the president, 12 noon. It says the objective of this meeting is a frank and constructive engagement. What posture are you going to this meeting with tomorrow?
Well, so the agenda has been set, frank and open discussions, right? At the point, I was wondering why we're going to have the meeting, and because I thought that we've had conversations about this matter for years. You know, the last guy who occupied the office actually put his life on the line, but he couldn't actually deliver. And so the current president, who also promised to do much about galamsey, is calling for a meeting. Then maybe there must be something more important he wants to tell us. But beyond it being a meet and greet, I think we'll have to have those frank conversations really. And I think that for me, I'm just going to ask for timelines, and essentially, I want the minister or the president to tell us where we were when they took office, where we are at right now, and what ought to be done in order to clear the waters. I mean, that's all we all need, right? And so we want a timeline, some KPIs that will be put in place so that we cannot measure. I've said that if we don't see any results after 3 months, or probably after 2 months, then the next meeting I may not be attending. So clearly, in the spirit of frankness, which is what the Callistus letter suggests, or is asking of us, then clearly we should deliver. So for me, I think initially, as I said, it's going to be a meet and greet. I think it goes beyond that to the extent that we can collectively ask for timelines, certain KPIs, and again, we'll be willing to ask them what they require of us as civil society actors. We are not mouthpieces of government, but again, we interact with, or we interface with government and maybe the lay people. So maybe they should also ask us what they want, what they really expect of us, and I think we'll deliver. I think that tomorrow's meeting will be interesting, and yeah, so we're having frank discussions, as they say.
I see. Then you cite what's happened before. The fact that you say, look, this kind of meeting, this is not the first time it's happening. Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo met you, and so to the extent that this is happening again, it doesn't excite you that much. But what do you want to see different with this second one, beyond the expectation that you're going into this meeting with?
I think what I want to see is to have a minister for the sector actually do a whole PowerPoint presentation for us, basically showing us all the map. I mean, an aerial photography of what plagues Ghana, and as I said, a timeline of what has happened from the time they took office up until now. All the initiatives he and his boss have initiated, and the party have initiated. We want to see whether there have been results. Don't forget that the president has shied away from total emergency, something I've come to understand also, that rather than have a total state of emergency for the entire country, we should have targeted state of emergencies, pocketed state of emergencies, which can be measured, right? Against the fact that there what's it called, the Blue Water Initiative, and a number of initiatives that we've had the minister actually recount. The last we heard was that some of these forest areas will now be termed security zones. What does that mean? And for me, apart from showing us that, we want to see the timelines as to what will be attained. So in a month's time, when we meet, we should be able to get results, right? Maybe 2 months away, we should also know what we are attaining, so that we ourselves can measure. Together, we can measure the performance, so that it will not be the government telling us alone and people disputing, opposition people disputing. We should do it collectively. And that's what I think will be taken away from this meeting. Otherwise, it will be another talking shop. I expect and I hope that this will be happening.
Prior to this meeting, the president has highlighted a number of things that he says that, is the reason why he is reluctant in declaring a state of emergency, which you say that you have come to appreciate that, the calls for a declaration of state of emergency may not be the solution. I heard you reference that. Correct?
Actually, what I mean is the total declaration of state of emergency for the entire country would not be the best. But if there's the targeted areas where there's the previous harm that have been done to the forest, those targeted areas, if they are declared no-go areas and they're security zones, we want to see increased activity, which would deter people from going into those forests. So that's what I mean when I say that.
I see. And then the detail of what the security zones declaration means, because then, yes, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources hinted this. We don't have much detail of what would entail, what this whole security zones thing would entail. That's one demand you would make tomorrow, to have some detail.
Without a doubt. I don't think coming into the meeting, they should just come and be telling us, we declare the area security zones. What does it mean to declare an area security zone? What resources are you deploying there? What obstacles are you facing there? How much will all these things cost? And if there are, we should always remember the numbers, right? Don't forget, some time ago, some people decided to deploy drones. I think we paid about $2 or $3 million for those drones. We never found them. I don't know whether they developed wings and flew away somewhere else. So we need to know how much these resources are also costing, because that's another thing. Don't forget that this administration costed, I think, close to about 4-5 times what the last administration costed for fighting Galamsey. You understand? They costed about 50 million Ghana cedis for fighting Galamsey. The last administration, I think they cost about just 10 million. So it means that to whom much has been given, more is expected. You understand? So there's no kids' game at all. We want to ask of the minister exactly what we are going to see and how they're going to spend that money wisely.
I see. And on the president referenced a number of things that he says was the reason why he was reluctant in declaring a state of emergency. One, the number of persons who have been arrested, been involved in Galamsey, over 1,000 of them, the number of chamfans that have been destroyed, the number of forest reserves that have been retrieved, the 9, but now he indicated 7, 2 of them had been compromised, and at the time, the security agencies had strategized to move in to reclaim these forest reserves that were hitherto taken over totally by illegal miners, and then the number of water pumps that have been retrieved and given to various government agencies, that's local agencies, to now use for the advancement and development of the country. All of this, does this give you an indication of the political will to fight Galamsey?
It looks to me that when the president substitutes these numbers for a state of emergency, I think he means that, look, the state itself has to be prepared. In a state of emergency, what it means essentially is that, well, there may be many, many more arrests. There may be certain procedures that you need to apply in terms of certain principles so that they will not be against the Constitution. How fast will you process these people for court? You understand? Why are you going to keep all these people? I think it's very important. That's why the state of emergency matter, much as we all agree it should be done, it seems to me that he's been able to convince us that the state itself is not even prepared or not quite ready now to accommodate all these persons who may be probably tracked out and arrested and put out in jail and all of that. So the state's ability to process people quickly is also has been called into question. Don't forget, not long ago, there was a story about some policemen who apparently had processed some Chinese people, actually arrested and put them in jail, and they're supposed to present them before a judge on a Monday. I think they went to court on a Friday. They were supposed to present the Chinese illegal miners on a Monday. When they went, they said that the guys have died. And they just said, how could they die between Friday and Monday? And they said, oh, they had died. They said they got burnt. And they just said, well, let's do an autopsy. Let's find out how they got burnt. I mean, it was a ruse, really. And you know how these things play. But the state itself has to be convinced that it has a professional policeman who would arrest persons and process them before court. So I think, I'm not making an excuse, but I think this is one of the reasons why it appears that the state's own capacity has yet to be expanded. Which then means that if you want to do targeted interventions, well, why not? Because in a state of emergency, you could arrest both people who may be culprits and those who are not. It's a bit of a stretch, really. But just notwithstanding, we just want to see our water, our rivers and precious water bodies clean. That's what we want to see. Because as it is now, it's a bedlam, really. And I don't think that any civilized country should be sitting accustomed to this kinds of what I call deviant behavior. Befitting a country that is at war. I don't think that's what we should be doing.
And rightly so. And stay with me, Mr. Kojo, because this matter has a number of legs, including how it's impacting on, for instance, cocoa farms. A number of cocoa farms have been impacted by Galamsey. Some cocoa farmers have had no choice than to sell their cocoa farms as well to illegal miners. As a result of they either giving higher prices and enticing them with the money, or even leaving them with no choice than to sell. But my colleague, Yvonne Nikoy, who's our Eastern Regional Correspondent, spoke to a cocoa farmer on how Galamsey is impacting on cocoa farms in the area. Take a look.
Just see right behind me, the illegal activity that is going on over there. When it rains, all this water will just pass through my farm. When it happens like that, you see some of the plants dying. Okay, so because of this, we are also not getting clean water to work in our farms. So me particularly, say, I find it difficult to now even come here. I've been discouraged. Why? Because this farm last year, you can see I harvested it last year. That is why the leaves are now coming again. And this is Hentia. This plant is herbs at the same time spice. And I want to tell you that this one feed my family. But at the end of the day, looking at this illegal activity that is going on, my farm is being destroyed. Getting people to buy Not that they don't need it, they need it, but they are afraid. Because if there should be a research indicating that mining communities, there is a threat concerning our food security, then it means that people will not now become, even they'll be afraid to even buy something like kontomire, something like abedru, and which they think it will affect them.
Well, and thankfully, Mr. Kujo, we have also been joined by Stevenson Ananeboating. He's the president of the Ghana National Cocoa Farmers Association. Ananeboating, good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. Hello. If you can unmute for us, that will be good.
Okay.
we can, yes, perfect.
Yeah, good evening, my brother, and good evening to you all.
Thank you so much. Now, you had one of your colleagues, cocoa farmers, to walking us through the impact of Galamsey on the cocoa farms. Now, you are also in there as well. Just give me an idea of the extent to which Galamsey is impacting on you, cocoa farmers, as we speak.
This has been a very serious impact on our side. In fact, cocoa farmers, we have no choice, just like you've been saying all the time. When it happens like that, difficult for us to even complain or lodge a case at the police or anywhere. So we are always worried about the situation. This is because it's not easy for us, because at the end of the day, they are pushing the blame on us. But this Galamsey issue has become so difficult on our side that the chiefs and those who are involved, the community leaders and so forth. So we cocoa farmers, we normally rent the land from the chiefs. So when the chiefs sell the land and the Galamsey people start their business, it becomes very difficult for us to tell the police or report to the headquarters or any of the immediate quarters, so that they also help us to rescue from such situation. So in fact, it has really, really had a very bad impact on us.
I see. And what would you expect in terms of interventions from government specifically?
Okay, this is what we always advise the government to incorporate us, especially Ghana National Cocoa Farmers Association, because we have almost, all the communities, we have members around. They can pass the information to us for us to also connect to the state authorities for them to come to our rescue or to help us. Otherwise, we cannot do anything, because the chiefs and the community leaders are the people who sell the land, and then the worry is they are pushing the blame on us. It is never true that we cocoa farmers sells our cocoa to the Galamsey people. It's the chiefs. They do the homework, the background, this thing, before they come to us. So when it comes like that, it becomes a problem. So we always urge the government to incorporate us in some of these decisions, so that at least we can also be able to, have immediate complaints to the right quarters to come for our rescue.
Well, tomorrow there's going to be a meeting. Yes, I don't see your group in there, but then again, there's an invitee who is on the other Zoom line listening to you right now. What would you want him to take into the meeting for you, cocoa farmers?
Good. This is what we always complain about. It looks like almost every time we complain about the government, we don't have any problem with the government, or we always want some governments to be unpopular. It is just because anytime such a situation comes, they should also invite us. I saw you shortlisted some of the members who are meeting. I'm there. I'm representing a large number of cocoa farmers. Why is it that we are not invited? They knew very well that we are the largest farmer group in the country. Why is it that they did not invite us? At least when they incorporate us in their decision making, we also come and share idea with them and know how best we can go. So if it happens like that, it becomes a problem. So like you are saying, we have nothing to tell them because they are the top people and they decide for themselves. And for a long time, farmers will never be included in decision making. I mean, when the policy makers are making their policies. So, well, we cannot say anything.
Oh, but because you have not been invited, you won't suggest, you won't tell Franklin Kujo what do you expect government to do?
We are there, and fine. You know, any letters. In fact, we've written when this government even came to power. We've written several letters to them. Even I remember one of the letters, the president himself, His Excellency Mahama, referred the letter to the Minister of Finance to write to us. I remember one day, one of the secretaries called me and they were asking the letters are 3, so how they should write the letter. And I told him, I mean, when we were writing the letter, we didn't consult them. So if the letter has come, they should reply us. I mean, this is what they do. So I don't know what I'm to tell them. If I'm there and then the discussions is going on, then I can be able to also express my view on that effect for my people. So for now, I don't know what to say. This situation, I mean, what they do normally is to apportion the blame on us that we cocoa farmers are selling our cocoa to the Galamsey people. But you see, when they are doing this thing, and if you decide not to sell your cocoa, they will work around your cocoa farm, and before you realize, your cocoa farm will die. So this situation, we've been complaining and complaining to the government. Even this government, we've written several letters. When he came to power, not less than 7 or 8 letters have been written to them, but none of it have been replied.
Right. But, so, Mr. Boateng, stay with me. Mr. Kujo, at least you've captured some concerns of the cocoa farmers.
Right.
You can take something to the meeting tomorrow for them, is it not?
Oh, well, without a doubt. I mean, let me just say one thing, Mr. Sir. Thank you very much for coming on board. But be rest assured that these matters will be addressed. I suspect that the presidency will be meeting other groups as well. So I'm sure beyond us, I'm sure farmer groups, chiefs and all of that are also part of the panoply of people that we met. But to rest assured that we understand the industry issues, cocoa industry issues very well. I mean, I've been mortified, really, when Imani conducted what we call a profitability analysis of the cocoa industry, and actually assess the types of cocoa farms that we have in Ghana and which ones were really profitable. We've done a number of things in the cocoa sector, so I'm very much well aware of these matters, and I think we'll bring them to bear tomorrow, because you see, these are existential threats beyond just the fact that you are dealing with Galamsey. Already the cocoa farms, cocoa industry service is tottering to its death. To think that very young people are no longer interested in farming cocoa, and the industry is being treated like, I don't know how to put it, but the state keeps treating it as that child that gives so much, but then it doesn't get taken care of. And I think this has to change. We need to move beyond announcing producer price of cocoa to dealing with the cocoa industry in a very holistic manner, which includes these threats that we are facing right now. These are existential threats. And we're already losing the cocoa edge to the likes of Ecuador and other countries that are coming up as well. I mean, look, this is a serious matter. So, sir, I'm not too sure the presidency will make light of the issues you mentioned. I suspect that at some point they may have meetings with you. But the point really is that we already know the problem. We already know the issues. So let's get on with it. So even tomorrow, as we are going to be there and represent various interests, rest assured that some of us are very much interested in even sustainable alternative livelihoods. The way it's done and the way it must be done must be the ones that can compete with the likes of, how do you call it, the cocoa. And it's possible. Look, there's a gentleman who runs a confit factory, right? You know that gentleman. He's taken a number of young people out of Galamsey. And today, I can attest, there's a gentleman that buys confit juice from around the actual area. Apparently, that gentleman used to earn about 100 cedis a day or something in Galamsey. And besides, he thought that he could be threatened, he could die at one point in time, at any point in time. The gentleman makes close to 400 cities a day, and that's a lot of money that some of us who wear tie, bow tie, and running around with bags under armpits that we are some executives don't even earn that much in a day. I mean, I think the model has to be studied, and even this whole thing about the sustainable livelihoods must be looked at in such a way that you want to empower communities to become advocates in the value chain of agriculture. Anyway, there's a lot more to say on this.
Indeed. And tomorrow we're going to be monitoring this meeting, and we'll definitely have a conversation after this meeting to see how it goes. Thank you.
Indeed.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Yes. Mike Franklin Kojo is the founding president of Imani Africa Policy Think Tank. Tomorrow they're going to be at the presidency at 12 noon, and we will be monitoring this meeting, see how things play out. But still on the matters of Galamsey, there's a press release that's just come through fresh on the plate from the Ghana Armed Forces and the Ghana Police Service. So this is it. I'm going to put it on the screen right now. The Ghana Police, that's the Ghana Armed Forces, is collaborating with the Ghana Police Service to establish allegations of extortion incident involving 2 soldiers and some civilians accomplices at Longshine Mining Company Limited in Prestia, Obo, on Sunday. That's the 28th of September 2025. If found culpable, personnel will face the law as any citizen of Ghana. The Ghana Armed Forces wishes to assure the general public that it will not shield its personnel involved in criminal activity. This is a statement that was just issued a few minutes ago, came through straight to us here on Ghana Tonight, fresh on the plate. These are the persons we're talking about, right? And these are images that were put out earlier by the Ghana Police Service. So we see it, these individuals, right? And this is what this statement is talking about. This investigation is going to bother on these persons who are alleged to have committed robbery at this said mining site. These 2. So this is it. This is what this statement is all about, and it's one that we'll keep an eye on here on Ghana Tonight, and we'll bring you some more details on. That's what the Ghana Armed Forces and the Ghana Police Service say. They are collaborating to investigate the alleged act of robbery involving these personnel that we just put there. We'll keep an eye on this one. But coming up next, let's still stay with matters of cocoa, because earlier today, government has increased the producer price of cocoa from 3,228 per 64 kg bag to 3,625 per the same 64 kg bag of cocoa beans. The decision, which takes effect from tomorrow, in fact, October 3, was announced by the Finance Minister earlier today, taken by the Producer Price Review Committee, which he chairs, and this is what he had to say. Take a look.
Basis of the changes that we have affected to the forecast, the government has taken a decision to increase the producer price of cocoa to 3,625 Ghana cedis per bag, or 58,000 Ghana cedis per ton. This simply means that per every bag purchase, the cocoa farmer is getting 400 Ghana cedis additional. Simply put, to the ordinary cocoa farmer, since my last engagement on the 4th of August to today, every bag you will purchase, you will sell to Cocoa Board, you'll be getting another 400 Ghana cedis, or 4 million Ghana cedis, old Ghana cedis. Ghana Cocoa Board will continue to implement all the interventions to support the cocoa production and the welfare of the cocoa farmer. In particular, Cocoa Board will intensify the supply of free cocoa fertilizers, both liquid and granular, free insecticides, free spraying machines, and free fungicides, and free flower inducers to the cocoa farmer. In addition, Cocoa Board is on track to implement the new tertiary education scholarship scheme for children of cocoa farmers in the 2026-2027 academic year.
And I still have Mr. Stevenson Anane Boateng, is the president of the Ghana National Cocoa Farmers Association. You heard him earlier, but on this subject, he's staying with us as well. Mr. Stevenson, can you hear me? Hello? Hello, Mr. Stevenson, can you hear us? Unfortunately, we lost him there. We'll try to reconnect with Stevenson Anane Boateng. He is the president of the Ghana National Cocoa Farmers Association. And this is Ghana Tonight. But there's one other aspect of this the finance minister's statement detailing what this intervention really means and what exactly the impact of this will be. Additional 400 cedis for the 64 kg bag of cocoa beans. And this is one that we're also getting reactions from the farmers as to how this meets their expectations, especially going into this particular period. And the other interventions that the finance minister talks about, scholarship for cocoa farmers, children, and then also all the others that they need to do their work. Let's see if we have a clear connection to Mr. Stevenson Boateng right now. Hello, Mr. Boateng, can you hear us?
Yes, I do hear you.
Perfect. Now, additional 400 cedis extra for 64 kg cocoa bags. Good news?
Yes, we've heard about it.
Does that excite you? Should be some good news?
Well, that is what the government promised, that he is going to give us 70% FOB price. So now, or since August, he promised he's giving us based on the exchange rate. And now we know the exchange rate is moving up. We even written to him that he should make a salary structure, exchange rate salary adjustment, something to it, so that it can be able to guide us when the prices increases or the exchange rate goes up. He also adjusts it. Fine, he is doing the work. So we applaud to that. We thank him very much for that respect.
Right, and going forward, going into this particular season, he talks about other interventions to help you in your work, including the ensuring that your children actually are the ones who are benefiting from a scholarship, not any other person's or individual's children. And then also the insecticides and others, fertilizers that you're going to get as well. Is it one that you would expect some streamlining to ensure the element of abuse is addressed?
Well, interestingly, this thing we've been always complaining about, because at the end of the day, just like it was before, the old scholarship scheme, you know, we were not, very few people benefited from it, just because sometimes when it comes like that, about some of the percentage or a large number of beneficiaries goes to the protocol. So we always expect the governments to make sure these things, when it is implemented like that, he added to our price, so that we can also manage our children, because we always wondering why government always wants to take care of our children. Meanwhile, if he wants to take care of our children, he should also consider that, it covers almost every cocoa farmer, not very few of them, and then the others enjoy. It's not something that we think is to our satisfaction anyway. But then we still insist. But for the inputs and other support, it's a normal thing. So that one, we think it should be done, and we like it. But as for the tertiary support and school distance, very few of us benefit out of it.
Well, I thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate you. Stephen Anani Boateng is a Ghana National Cocoa Farmers Association president, joining us there on Ghana Tonight. Coming up next, viral videos spark fresh outrage over sexual misconduct in senior high schools. Now, just two we've seen in the last 1 week, those two that has gone viral. The Ghana Education Service has responded. That's coming up next. The latest has also been dismissed. This is a school in the OT region. But beyond the dismissal, what next? This is the conversation we're going to have after this quick break. Dr. Peter Patianti is going to be joining us for this. Stay with us here on Ghana Tonight.
Reporting from the Takoradi Market Circle.
From the heart of the Upper West Regional Capital.
From the heart of the Ashanti Kingdom.
Reporting from Sinyani.
From the Central Business District of Navrongo.
The parliamentarians are on recess.
This is where it all unfolds. The moments that potentially alters the course of our nation and the world. These are the individuals we recognize, the voices we amplify, who appears on screen and who contributes behind the scenes. With professionalism at our core, we bring you news you can trust. Impact journalism that makes a difference. This illustrates how diverse perspectives enhance our strength and reinforces our mission. This is 3 News. Leaders in breaking news, exclusive interviews, facts and analysis on TV, radio, online and digital. 3 News, first in news.
Welcome back. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live on 3FM 92.7 now. Two teachers, and that's coming up next. Two teachers are currently being investigated for their alleged involvement in sexual misconduct with their students in senior high schools. The Ghana Education Service, in each of the instances, has issued statements detailing how they are actually handling this particular issue. But there are calls for a broader conversation on this, and we're going to walk you through, just for the uninitiated. The first viral video that the GES took action on was the one involving the assistant headmaster academic for the KNUST Senior High School, that's Charles Akwesi Edu, who was captured in this video, gone viral, compromising position with a female student. And then also they indicated what they had done, prohibited him from going to the school. And in fact, he had been removed from office already. That's the one with this KNUST one. Just when we were just getting over this KNUST saga, then another one popped up. This time around involving a teacher of Okaja Krom Senior High Technical School in Jasika Municipality of the Oti region, in an act of sexual misconduct, again, with a female student. Now, this is Mr. Info Richard Tibeto. That's the name of this second one in this disturbing, the GES described this one as disturbing video that's circulating on social media. And they are taking the same path. It says it's an ethical, clear violation of the Professional Code of Conduct. Tibeto has already been interdicted and prohibited from entering the school premises pending further investigation into the matter. Now, Dr. Peter Patianti is the executive director of the Institute for Education Studies, one of the foremost CSOs in the education space, is joining us right now. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight, Dr. Anti. I mean, would you side with those who say this has become a talking point because there are videos that have gone viral capturing this, but it's been going on for quite a while? You know, we talk about it and then nothing really happens. What is giving the fertile ground for this growing incidence of teacher-student sexual relationships?
To your viewers, I think it's the advent of social media is projecting this more into the system. 2-3 years ago, I did a study with Girls Excellence Movement on the challenges that girls face in their education, and it became clear to me as I traveled across the country and I spoke to young girls. I realized that a lot of them have been going through these challenges, just that they find it difficult to communicate this to anybody because when they say it, they are seen as bad girls or they are victimized. So for me, social media is just bringing out something that has been with us for some time, and it's just projecting it for us to have a broader discussion around it and see how best we'll be able to make sure that our schools are safe havens for our young girls and not avenues where they are preyed on.
Forward in terms of beyond this dismissals of the culprits, so to speak, the head teachers and the teachers in there, what should be the thinking to ensure that this does not continue?
I think that GES should enter a preventive mode. I think that they should revise their whole code of ethics or code of conduct that they have. I think that there should be stiffer punishment for teachers that get themselves involved in this. I've said that, there are instances where you might want to think that the students can also be at fault. But the point is that teachers are taking through professional training, and their training is supposed to prepare them for all these eventualities and incidents. And if you are not able to professionally handle a student who may be going overboard with you, then it means that you are not cut for the profession. So I think that GES would have to take a second look at their code of conduct. I think that the National Teaching Council would have to step in if you look at their functions, one of them is to ensure that teachers are of a higher level of ethical behavior, and where teachers are found wanting in that aspect, they have the authority to take a second look at the licenses that they have issued to that particular teacher. I think if you put these two together, we should be able to have a very controlled system in our senior high schools. I believe strongly that our senior high schools, school environment, should not be the avenue for these things. I think we need a more safe place for our young girls and boys as they go through their pre-tertiary education.
But this is a reflection of the larger moral decadence, right, that we've been talking about. So you see in the senior high schools, the boys are involved in acts of vandalism, violence, wielding weapons, and we've talked about it in the past. Now we're seeing in the case of these females as well, now being victims of sexual immorality or harassment for that matter. So what's the weakness that is really giving rise to this or creating the fertile ground for this to fester?
Alfred, you see, our society is changing. As sociologists will tell you, that society is dynamic, so it's understandable. But for me, it seems our society is changing from the good to the bad. You see that our children are not able to balance modernity with civility. We are not able to live up to the kind of moral standards that our society used to be known for. And for me, even the sheer ability of a student to record herself with her master is something that I cannot come to terms with. It means that our society is going down as we progress, and it's time that opinion leaders in the society take a second look at this. This tells you that the indiscipline on campus is something that is very, very deep down the system. Because if a student is not supposed to use a mobile phone on campus, and that student feels comfortable to even use it around the academic head, it tells you that sometimes the teachers might be part of the reason why we are experiencing that kind of indiscipline on campus. It means that sometimes the authorities are practically the enablers of indiscipline on campus. And these are conversations that we need to have. We need to have so that we don't go further down. These are supposed to be the future leaders, those who are supposed to be running the various aspects of our society 10 years to come, when we are old and we will sit back and look at them. But look at the kind of attitude that they are putting up. It's quite worrying. And I think we need a whole conversation around how our school systems are gradually changing, how our moral standards are going down, and how people now in undertaking activities that are not right in the sense of our moral moral compass, they don't feel deterred, and they are able to do it without even a blink. It's very problematic.
You've said it all perfectly, and you couldn't have put it any better than this. It's quite concerning, to say the least. And it had to take the Cybersecurity Authority to even issue a statement cautioning these senior high school graduates not to be recording themselves, the girls, threatening that they were going to take people's husbands and so on after school. And then we are seeing all of this happening. So really, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. Dr. Peter Patenty is the director of the Institute for Education Studies, IFSTEP. Well, before we go, more oil marketing companies have increased fuel prices at the pumps. Now, this comes almost 2 weeks, in fact, just about 2 weeks after prices were expected to go up from mid-September in line with industry data. Market leader Star Oil, in a social media post, announced that a liter of petrol will now sell at 13 cedis 17 pesos, up from the previous 12 cedis 77 pesos. You see, Goil there now also petrol 13 cedis 38 pesos, diesel 14 cedis 20 pesos, Total Energies diesel 14 cedis 30 pesos. You have also petrol 13 cedis 40 pesos, and so you see the Star Oil there as well. Shell diesel up to 14 cedis 18 pesos as well, and you have petrol selling over 13 cedis 38 pesos for oil as well. So the company explained that the adjustment was influenced by developments on the international market and the exchange rate, the cedi, essentially, because of the depreciation we saw of the cedi in the last at least 1 month gone by. And we've seen this increase across the number of OMCs, that's the fuel stations across the country. So this is it. That's what's happening at the pumps right now. We'll monitor and see how things play out ahead of the next pricing window. On behalf of the rest of the team, we thank you so much for staying with us here on Ghana Tonight. We are back again tomorrow for another conversation. I am Alfred Ocansey. Have a good night.
Ghana Tonight is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint.